Welcome back to my Final Fantasy XIV drama series. Today's drama story is about my sleeping beauty. If you enjoy these kinds of videos, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Part 1. Meeting her. I've always been a bit of a lonely person. I feel like the Western world does not understand my culture because my family is from a Muslim group in Europe. However, for both my brother and I, video games have always been an enjoyable escape. I played Final Fantasy XI, and then I made the switch over to Final Fantasy XIV. I endured the wait for the game's rebirth, and have been playing the game ever since. One day, I was looking around for houses on Marlborough. Marlborough had a flood of newcomers, and they were buying all the houses, so there weren't many available. This was back in the day when houses were not a lottery system. Instead, they were a click spamming system. As I clicked on the placard, I noticed another person standing right next to me clicking on the placard too. We started to chat here and there, and I began to realize that I really was enjoying talking to her. I enjoyed it so much that I decided I would rather type to her than click the placard. Damn! This girl just dropped her responsibility of going for that house. She eventually won the house and we added each other. Her name was Aurora. Rookie mistake, someone in chat said. Girl over house. Hey, okay, to be fair, Opie said at the start, this is a very important keynote. I've always been a bit of a lonely person. And you will see why with the story. So they gave up the house for Aurora. I invited her to my FC, and over time, we built a group of friends that hung out together. She and I began to connect, and one day after drinking a lot of alcohol, I asked her to join me on Discord. Oh, I just find that sentence so much like, oh, I had to down a whole bottle of alcohol. All right, I got the confidence now. Would you like to join me on Discord? Aurora told me, maybe another time. Oh, no! Shot down. But that was okay. I just felt really happy spending time with her. And she didn't outright say no. So that meant there could be a potential chance for me. We spent all our evenings together for the next 3 days, and then she sent me a private tell. Could we talk, just the two of us? I was a bit nervous. Maybe I had made her uncomfortable or said something wrong. I told her, of course, I'm always down to talk. Okay, so he invited her to Discord, got rejected. 3 days later, Aurora is saying, could we talk? Just the two of us. Okay. Got the timeline down. Aurora told me that she was mute. That for as long as she remembered, she had not been able to speak. And she told me that she would love to continue to hang out with me, but that it would have to be only over text. See, this is why I wanted to know the time. Because if OP asked her 3 days ago, hey, can we go to Discord? I think that would have been the perfect time to say, I actually can't use Discord because I'm mute. But why did it take 3 days later and then be like, hey, can we talk? I now want to reveal that I'm mute. Like, to me, it's kind of like, was that enough time for you to figure out a plan? I'd like to believe people and like being mute or deaf or anything like that, of course. But like, because so many people have used this excuse and trolled and tricked people online. For all the people who are actually mute out there, I hope you totally understand if we ever second guess because of how often we have been tricked, you know? So I feel like whenever someone says mute, I'm just like, it starts ringing some alarms like, this could be a lie. Are you telling me the truth or are you lying? Mute girls, classic online, huh? Yeah, that's true. But yeah, to me, that's what I remembered. The 3 days, I was just like, that's a little interesting when we analyze it. I felt so honored to have been told such a personal secret, and I felt like our connection continued to grow, and I just wanted to protect her from the world. Oh my god, OP! He's falling in love! Eventually, she became an officer in the FC, and I tried my best to support her however I could. Time passed and things were going well. The FC became less active, and she had vented to me about how she felt like they weren't valuing. So I got so distracted because I just see the whole chat salute also. Time passed and things were going well. The FC became less active, and she had vented to me about how she felt like they weren't valuing her contributions as an officer many times. They really weren't respecting her amazing ability to bring fun to others. Throughout these harder times, at the end of the day, the two of us had our special connection. We even had an eternal bonding ceremony, and I was happy with her. She told me that she longed to be a part of a community where she could take on a leadership role and be valued, and we agreed to move to a new FC together. Interesting. So I remember in high school I had this one friend, and she was new to the school, and I decided to be her friend because, you know, whenever you see that new girl come into the class and you feel like, damn, that must suck to be in their position, you know, they don't know anybody. And I was just like, yeah, come over, sit next to me. So she did. I even remember her name. Her name was Crystal. And so I was like, yeah, and I introduced her to my group. I wanted to make her feel at home. And I remember her telling me, you know, I want to be popular in school. And I was like, huh? Why? Why? Why is that your goal? Like, what? So like when this girl here, Aurora, says, you know, I want to be valued and I want to have a leadership role. It's like, I get that there are people who want to be popular in Final Fantasy XIV also, but why? They seek validation, you know, through the game sometimes, or in life. Regina George. Okay, the story with Crystal, my friend, she ended up becoming quite popular. She got her dream. We were still friends, but not as close. But I was her first friend. The clique for me back then, I didn't really have a clique. I was just friends with everyone. Okay, going back to the story. Sorry to be sidetracked. That was the end of the first chapter, part 1. So now we're in part 2, the trouble. We joined a new FC along with a small handful of her friends, and things were still going fine. And then the FC started recruiting for FC Savage Statics. They were trying to create a third one, and she told me that she wanted to try pushing herself. Leadership in an FC is a nightmare. It is. I remember I was a leader a long time ago, and it was just too much. And now I'm a leader again, and honestly, I would prefer it if someone else was a leader. Like, even whenever I make statics, I'm like, guys, I'm not fit to be the leader, even though I brought you all here. So please, someone step up and take the leadership. I never want to be the leader, to be honest. I just want everyone to work as a team equally. But I know there has to be some form of leadership somewhere. I don't want anyone's heads to get big because of the leadership role, though, because that's when you see problems. I wanted to be there to support her, even though I've always been wary of drama that comes with hardcore content. I wanted to be with her. Oh, so OP was like, this is your idea, but I want to stick by you. I'll go through this messy, hard content because I just want to be with you. We joined the third static and met the FC appointed static lead for our group, Mr. Raid Leader. That's his name in the story, Mr. Raid Leader. I feel like that could be a song. Hey, Mr. Raid. Okay, you totally know what song I'm trying to sing. He seemed like a sensible guy at the time, but in hindsight, I really wish we hadn't met him. Hey, Mr. Raid Man. Yes, that's it. Hey, Mr. Raid Man. It's actually supposed to be Rager, which makes sense for a raid leader, to be honest. He seemed like a sensible guy at the time, but in hindsight, I really wish we hadn't met him because he would end up changing both of our worlds. Uh-oh. How so? How so? After a couple of raid sessions, Mr. Raid Leader asked Aurora if she could perhaps let the team know in comms when she was going to use certain skills. I didn't want her secret exposed to everyone, but she insisted that it was okay and ended up telling Mr. Raid Leader about her condition. He seemed completely cool with it and told Aurora that he could spend some extra time with her going over things to accommodate the voice comms. I didn't really like that they were spending extra time with each other, but I ignored it. Oh, OP is getting a little jealous. Like, so Aurora told the raid leader, I'm mute, I can't actually go on the voice call. Mr. Raid Leader wants to see her after class and to talk a little bit more about raid things, if you know what I mean. We continued to raid together and we were making decent progress, but then we hit the gates of Pandemonium, Asphodelis, Third Circle, Phoenix. The group started to struggle. Classic, also classic. That fight definitely made some people struggle. Some of the members were getting antsy and we started to have some roster issues. Mr. Raid Leader decided to be a lot more hands-on with the shot calling and directing the group. It was becoming obvious to the group that Mr. Raid Leader was directing everything. I was supposed to be the static co-lead, but it felt like everyone thought it was Mr. Raid Leader's show. Yeah, I'm sensing a little bit of jealousy from OP here. Mr. Raid Leader, why do you have all the spotlight? You're not doing everything. I became more worried when she started a new FC. I was her right-hand man, but she invited Mr. Raid Leader and made him an officer too. Dude, this is looking bad for OP. I'm sorry. We cleared P3S after a couple of months, and she complimented Mr. Raid Leader a lot after we got our clear. After a while, I noticed we started hanging out less and less. Just her and me. My fears were confirmed when I ring TP'd to her and saw the two of them sitting under a cherry blossom tree. She told me, "It's none of your business." And the two of them continued to hang out a lot. I felt really annoyed. They continued to hang out one-on-one a lot for a couple of months, and then the incident happened. Mr. Raid Leader had been dragging static members into clear parties in PF outside of raid time because the end of the tier was coming. I mean, if the raid leader wasn't open about that in the Discord group of the static, then maybe I could see that being a little shady, especially if OP wasn't part of it. But if he was open about it and everyone was like, yep, we're down to do that, we're down to have more work outside of raid time, then there's nothing actually wrong with that if everyone's cool with it. Aurora didn't like to do raiding content all the time, and I never felt the need to tag along to these extra sessions. So we ended up being some of the last people who hadn't cleared yet when the static session came around that week. After we cleared that night, Mr. Raid Leader immediately made an announcement out of nowhere that the static was disbanding. For the first time in a long time, Aurora and I talked about how she felt, and she vented to me that she felt like she was losing a group of friends she really liked. I mean, the static is breaking up, you know? People might feel like they're about to lose their static friends, maybe. She and I began to hang out again, which made me really happy. She told me because of her bipolar disorder, sometimes she would be in the mood to talk to me, but sometimes she just needed breaks from people. So even though I saw her occasionally talk to Mr. Raid Leader, she was now also talking to me some more. So that was something, I suppose. At least she wasn't spending almost every waking moment around just Mr. Raid Leader now. I think Aurora's priority list isn't on OP. Mr. Raid Leader was higher on her priority list than OP, my opinion, after reading the story. The new Savage tier came around and Aurora found out that Mr. Raid Leader actually took 4 people from our previous group into Abyssos. I tried my best to make her feel better, and we joined a group with some other friends. Oh, whoa. So Aurora didn't get picked up by Mr. Raid Leader in the new Abyssos group. But the group ended up not doing very well, and the static fizzled out. So their new static in Abyssos did not pan out as great as the one with Mr. Raid Leader. in the first one. We chatted whenever we were both online, but she logged on less and less. So eventually she told me she got a cancer diagnosis and would be spending time away from the game. But yeah, if this is true, that really sucks. She told me she would be on every once in a while, but it has been months since she's been online. She told me that her IRL issues were hers alone to deal with. She was so passionate about housing, but her house has been auto-demolished and communications have completely gone dark. She lost her FC lead rank and the FC ownership passed to me, but I just wanted her to be back. So this is interesting. So she was mute. Then she told OP she was bipolar. Then she tells OP she has cancer. And now she's not really logging into the game. I created a special Sleeping Beauty rank to put her character in, and I'm faithfully keeping the FC that she loved running so very much. Part 3, waiting for my Sleeping Beauty. But I'm just so mad at Mr. Raid Leader. Okay, Mr. Raid Leader is still on OP's mind. But I'm just so mad at Mr. Raid Leader. I'm in my mid-40s and I felt like she was the one. But I'm running out of time and maybe I'll just be forever single. The two of them had a young person fling and he wasted the limited time I had with her. It was so unfair for him to disrupt the static. I never really cared for it, but it meant so much to her and it felt like he didn't love her despite her condition and just cast her aside. I mean, wait, I don't know if there was anything even going on between Mr. Raid Leader and Mr. Raid Leader and Aurora. They did spend time together, but we don't know if they were ever dating, you know? I don't think so. You could really see OP's frustrations. They're just like, that was valuable time that I was supposed to spend with Aurora. He just cast her aside. She was the bigger person and kept him around as an FC officer, but I hated that she turned the other cheek for someone who didn't deserve her. Leading an FC isn't even that important to me, and there's not that much to do in the game, but I will wait for my Sleeping Beauty until the servers go down. You mean like to the very, very end of the game? Until it like completely shuts down? My advice for all of you is to listen to your gut. I wish we had never met Mr. Raid Leader. I wish I had warned her against getting close to him. Maybe if we had spent more time together, she would have let me into her life and I could help her through her tragedy. I just log in and go to clubs, but my time in the game just feels so much more empty without you. I don't think it's too much to ask for my Sleeping Beauty to wake up one day. I just want to know you are okay. The end. Remember when I told chat to remember the first sentence of the story? I'm a pretty lonely guy. Now you can see why it was very, very important. Okay, OP. Okay, see, like I don't want to be mean to anyone. I don't want to be mean to anyone. Chat, please don't do this to me. I don't want to analyze the story. Please. The ending is a little bit wild. OP, like I understand, like it feels like you're running out of time, like with your age, and you want to be with someone, but God, this is like life advice or something, and this is hard to do this, but like just be happy with yourself. And if you do meet someone, like that's a bonus. You should always be happy with yourself first. Speak the truth, Pathra. Okay, the next thing to tackle. When you met a girl, you instantly like fell in love. Like I'm trying to help you out with your dating life here, okay? So like you ever meet another girl going forward, whether it be in the game, IRL, whatever, don't put all your cards on the table, please. You will scare her. She will be like, man, this guy is so into me so fast. This is a little bit creepy. Okay. Maybe Aurora felt that a little bit, and that's why she didn't, you know, prioritize you very high, and she was looking for something else, and maybe she was interested in Mr. Raid Leader. She saw Mr. Raid Leader being like this leader, and like, I don't know, for some reason Final Fantasy 14 people like have crushes on their raid leaders, have crushes on their FC leaders, maybe because they're just like, he's so manly, like. So I think Aurora was having a crush on the static raid leader or something, and you were just her friend. And I know that might hurt a little bit because, you know, you were really into her. But yeah, don't put all your cards on the table. Just be friends. See if it goes further than that. Test the waters out. Don't go all in yet, please. I would, and also something I wanted to touch base on is I know you really hate Mr. Raid Leader, but don't look at it like, I wish we never met that person. Look at it like as if it's a blessing, because like you have to meet people like this in your life. Like this was a test for Aurora. Like, you know that she was interested in him. It would have been probably better that you saw Aurora's true colors instantly, that she wasn't interested as much into you. She was interested more into the raid leader. So like, imagine a world where you guys got together and then Aurora just left you for someone like Mr. Raid Leader. So like, I see that more as like a blessing that you just saw that instantly. So yeah, like everything happens for a reason. And you just got to see like that's what Aurora like actually wanted. She wanted a guy like that. Patra's spitting facts. I'm trying to help. This could be helpful to many people, not just OP. Like this kind of info could be helping many people out there. But yeah, don't hate Mr. Raid Leader. There's gonna be plenty of guys out there like that. There's plenty of competition out there in the world. You just gotta be, of course, be yourself, but just appear to have options. Don't make it like this one girl is your life, because the girl will see that. Yeah. And I hope, yeah, just keep going out there, keep meeting people, have many options. The world is your oyster. It's not too late, okay? There's so many more people for you to meet in the rest of your life, whether it's in Final Fantasy 14 or other, like an IRL and stuff like that. Someone in chat says, don't be desperate. There's tons of fish. Yep. You don't need to down alcohol to ask a girl to go into Discord. You can do it, man. I believe in you. You can do it. Yes, being in our 40s isn't the end of... It's not the end. 40s is young. Come on. Right, chat? 40s is young. Please agree with me. Please agree with me. It's like, I would like to think that. Sending hugs to OP. We're all gonna get there, okay? 40s is the new 30s. If you ain't 40 yet, chat, you will be one day. Also, OP. Oh, I have the best advice. Guys, I have the best advice. So OP, there's this Discord called Love Bringers. Join it. You can find other Final Fantasy 14 people who are also looking for love. Try that out. I'm trying to set OP up. Come on. I want to play Cupid. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this Final Fantasy 14 drama story. Remember, these are real people behind the stories, and they're human and can make mistakes. They'll also be reading the comment section, so please try to have constructive criticism. There are always nicer ways to say something versus saying it meanly to help someone learn and grow. If you have any of your own drama stories that you'd like me to share and read out anonymously, feel free to reach out to my Discord, discord.gg/Pathra.